Filled with spine-chilling confessions, these Reddit threads are so disturbing, you'll wish you never read them. Imagine waking up to realize the last 10 years of your life, your wife, your children, your entire world never actually existed. That's exactly what happened to a Reddit user when, over a decade ago, he posted a story known simply as The Lamp. The tale begins with a sudden accident that knocked the poster unconscious. But instead of darkness, he woke up in another life where he met the love of his life, got married, had 2 children, and built a perfect, peaceful life. But everything changed the moment he noticed a strange lamp in his living room. Something about it felt off. He wrote on Reddit that, "One day while sitting on the couch, I noticed that the perspective of the lamp was odd, like inverted. It was still in 3D, but just wrong. It was a square lamp base, red with gold trim on 4 legs, and a white square shade. I was transfixed. I couldn't look away from it. I stayed up all night staring at it. The next morning, I didn't go to work. Something was just not right about that lamp. He couldn't stop staring. Days passed, and slowly, his perfect world unraveled. The truth hit hard. None of it was real. He woke up in the real world, disoriented, surrounded by strangers, his dream family gone. And yet, the grief felt real. Soon, the post was flooded with comments. One said, "Dear God, that's haunting." Another added, "Sorry for your loss. Even if it was never real, that story still gives people chills." If the lamp blurred the line between reality and dreams, this next story hits with something far more real. It's known on Reddit as the coconut story, and it's not just disturbing, it's heartbreaking. A user shared how, years ago, she trusted her mother to watch her kids for one night. One of her twin daughters had a rare coconut allergy. Her mother knew, but used coconut oil on the girl's hair anyway. When the toddler reacted, she gave her medicine, but didn't call for help. By morning, the little girl was gone. Just gone. The OP's life never recovered. Her mother still begs for forgiveness, but the reply is always the same. "You can come see me when you bring my daughter with you." The thread exploded with grief and fury, and one commenter called it what it was: purposeful narcissism, not a forgivable mistake. Creepy Reddit thread. Some Reddit threads are creepy, and then some just mess with your sense of reality. This one, posted in r glitch in the Matrix, it's titled, "I am losing my mind." And honestly, that feels like an understatement. A college student came home from a quick trip to find that the shared hallway closet, where she stored clothes, keepsakes, personal things, had turned into a bathroom. Fully built, toilet, shower, everything. Her roommate swore it had always been that way, but she knew it hadn't. Everything she had stored in that closet, completely gone. No one believed her. She was terrified she was losing her mind. Then, a chilling update. She mentioned doctors found a brain tumor. After that, silence. No new posts. No closure. The Reddit community was left haunted, not just by the glitch, but by the possibility that the scariest part wasn't supernatural. It was real and medical. Stone crosses. While walking down a quiet Austin trail, someone stumbled upon something that felt completely wrong. Stone crosses, lined up one after another, hidden among the trees. At first, they seemed like old memorials or odd art pieces, until a closer look revealed bones inside one. The crosses were made from modern materials, metal and concrete, indicating they had been put up recently. Reddit users online connected the dots. They believe it's the work of a man named Rami Zawaida. He's been seen damaging property with a chainsaw, talking to himself, even confronting neighbors. One resident shared they found lock-picking tools near their home. Another said he claimed he was cleansing the woods. One Redditor commented, "He's been targeting me and my dog, calling us obscene names. I've called 911 30 times, but nothing's been done." Well, he was arrested, briefly sentenced, then released. Now people don't just feel unsettled, they feel unsafe. What started as a strange trail discovery turned into a community trying to stay alert, hoping the next cross isn't built near their home. Edge of forever. What if the biggest mistake of your life felt perfect? That's what happened to a Redditor named Spontaneous H. He had a solid life, master's degree, great job, nothing wild. Then, one ordinary day, in a moment of boredom, he tried something risky, just one hit of heroin. Just once, just to see. In 2 weeks, everything changed. He began posting about the spiral, trying again, then more, then too much. He lost control, but he kept sharing. Through heartbreak, a hospital stay, even silence, Reddit watched it all unfold in real time. Years passed. Then came the update. He made it. Clean, grounded, healing. And one comment said what we all thought. Even if you've never touched that world, you've stood on its edge. That one tiny decision, it could have been any of us. So how close is too close? Before you can't turn back. Unseen urgency. After the last few Reddit threads, you'd think nothing could top them. But then comes this story. Not paranormal, not mysterious, but a brutal reminder. You never know what someone else is going through on the road. A group of trained tree workers were out in the middle of nowhere when one of them had a freak mishap. With no time to wait, his friend threw him in the car and sped toward the hospital. But traffic didn't make it easy. 2 drivers, unaware of what was happening, boxed him in for miles, thinking he was just some reckless jerk. They didn't know what was unfolding inside that car. By the time the police helped clear the way, it was too late. When one of those drivers pulled over to report him, the officer calmly showed her the crew and the car. Moral of the story, sometimes letting someone pass could save a life. Silent pain. Not every disturbing Reddit story involves something supernatural. Sometimes the scariest ones are about the weight people carry, quietly. One user, you Jason in Hell, shared something that wasn't loud or dramatic. It just hurt. He found out his wife had been involved with someone else, not a stranger, a neighbor. And it wasn't just a moment. It was a whole connection. He stayed. For the kids. For stability. But inside, he's stuck. He replays messages, memories, the moment everything changed. He's still there, going through the motions, but the trust, gone. The peace, replaced with looping thoughts, doubt, and silence. And one comment said it best. It's like your mind is stuck on repeat. That constant what if just won't stop. It's exhausting. No monsters, no glitch, just one person quietly holding too much pain, and no one even sees it. Beanbag's secret. This Reddit post from No Rules about a series of quiet, eerie clips from a Chinese account called Beanbag Adventure. It shows an old underground shelter, but inside, a still pool holding shapes, some small, suspended in this thick, strange liquid. It wasn't hidden, it wasn't rushed, it felt intentional. People assumed the worst, but others asked, what if it wasn't meant to erase, but to preserve? There were signs, jars like you'd see in museums, remains arranged for learning, not loss. Some believe it connects to a hidden industry around educational models, an industry few talk about, but that moves quietly and profits big. The person who filmed it, they stopped posting. No one knows why or where they went. Just silence and a lot of unanswered questions. Hikers find. Ever looked back at a photo and realized something was there the whole time, and you just didn't see it? 3 friends were hiking near a quiet waterfall, a bit off the main path, when they spotted someone barely moving, alone, and clearly not okay. She'd been there overnight, injured, with no way to call for help. Her friend had tried to go for help, but hadn't made it far. But here's the part that sends a chill down your spine. Earlier that same day, the hikers had taken pictures of the area. Later, looking at the photos, she was in the background, just lying there, completely unnoticed. One commenter said it best. Imagine seeing that photo weeks later, realizing someone was there the whole time, just out of frame, waiting. That thought, missing something so important, so close, sticks with you. Horrible glitch. On December 14, 2017, Reddit user She's Such a Riot shared a chilling memory from years ago. At 16, they came home late and turned on Nickelodeon, expecting a typical cartoon night. But instead, they saw a disturbing scene. Humans walking in a line, heading towards giant hamster wheels. Some were already inside, mindlessly walking like robotic zombies. The eerie background noise only added to the discomfort. As the scene repeated, they quickly changed the channel, only to find SpongeBob playing as usual. Confused, they couldn't find the strange video on any other channels, and even after searching online, nothing about it existed. Some Redditors suggested it could have been a broadcast glitch, like the infamous Max Headroom hijacking, but this theory doesn't hold up for a kid's channel. Others pointed to older MacBook commercials with similar imagery. Despite many theories, the mystery of what She's Such a Riot saw remains unsolved. Caregiver. What if your entire life was shaped by someone else's hope, only for everything to come crashing down in a heartbeat? That's what happened to you, Tom C. Throwaway. His sister, who faced serious health challenges from the moment she was born, needed constant care. His mother's focus was always on a miracle that never arrived. For years, Tom's world revolved around his sister. No friends, no space, no chance to dream. One day, everything boiled over. He couldn't keep pretending that his life wasn't on hold. He confronted his mom about everything they had sacrificed, his future, his freedom, just to hold on to a hope that never materialized. And then, in an unexpected turn, his world shifted. His mother's struggles caught up with her, and now Tom is left navigating the aftermath, trying to rebuild relationships, including with a father who has moved on. In the blink of an eye, everything changed. Could that have been you? Haunted reunion. Imagine unknowingly letting someone back into your life, someone who was part of a dark chapter for your spouse. That's what happened to 90-Day Beyonce, who made a friend at the gym, David, without realizing that he had a history that would shatter his world. One evening, David came over for dinner, and when his wife came back, the scene erupted. She screamed in terror, and what followed was a medical emergency and a silence that spoke volumes. David wasn't just any guy. He was the man who had traumatized her years ago, and now he'd wormed his way back in. What followed was complete isolation. His wife, her family, and friends shut him out, making it clear that he'd crossed a line he couldn't undo. He now faces the devastating consequences of not recognizing the man who had once caused so much pain. Would you have seen the signs? Chilling thread. In November 2015, a Reddit user named Bangarang posted a troubling request in the r Sad Boys subreddit saying, "Need $700,000 by January 2016 or I'm in serious trouble with the mob." While some users thought it might be a weird reference to Young Lean's music, things took a darker turn when Bangarang responded seriously to sarcastic replies. One user joked about jumping off a bridge, and Bangarang responded, "They'll get to me before I can make any moves," along with a mysterious photo of men standing in the street, implying he was being watched. Bangarang later shared that he had been involved in a fight, which led to him owing the mob. Users like PizzaMan2345 suggested drastic actions, but Bangarang vanished from Reddit shortly after. 9 years later, no one knows what happened, leaving this case as one of Reddit's unsolved mysteries. Blood heist. In January 2021, Reddit user PaganPrincess22 recalled something truly odd from her childhood in the late 90s. Around age 5 or 6, she was taken to an ER in Indiana after a serious nosebleed. While her mom stepped out, a woman walked in wearing a scrub top with dogs but mismatched pants, and claimed she needed to draw blood. She took 5 to 7 vials, then suddenly rushed out when voices approached. When the real doctor entered, he froze and said, "She doesn't work here." He ran after her, but OP never found out what happened next. Some replies guessed it might have been a mix-up or a misremembered event. One user, Utrus, asked, "Any chance you were adopted?" OP replied, "I don't believe so. My birth certificate lists my known parents, and I look just like my mom and sister." Another user suggested it might be a confused memory, but what if it wasn't? No names, no answers. Just a haunting mystery. Who was she? And why did she take that blood? Haunting thread. Reddit user Myra shared a bone-chilling story from when she first moved into her apartment. She stepped out briefly to get the mail, door locking behind her. While chatting with her boyfriend and sorting mail on her bed, her phone slipped under it. But when she reached down, she spotted something horrifying. A man curled up, silently hiding under her bed. Fighting panic, she pretended nothing was wrong, excused herself, and slipped into the bathroom, then out the window. Police later found a knife-wielding stranger waiting by the door. He had slipped in while she was outside. Turns out, he was a disturbed homeless man. One commenter, "I ate your snack," said, "I still check under my bed, and I'm 30. Also, keep my feet covered, just in case." Lesson: always trust your gut, and maybe, just maybe, check under the bed, because this time, it really wasn't just in her head. Chilling confession. Imagine scrolling Reddit and stumbling across a post titled, "Wanted for Kitchener Incident, My Side." That's exactly what people saw when a man named Agar Hassan shared a long message, explaining what happened between him and his ex, Melinda Vasilije. He claimed things got out of hand after a heated argument. He even posted screenshots of their last texts and shared pictures of them together. But readers noticed how his story tried to soften his actions and shift the blame, making himself look like the victim in a complicated breakup. Authorities later said there were serious past issues between them. The post was taken down, but not before it left a lasting impression. One commenter, Avid Traveler 123, wrote, "I find this terrifying because it happened in a city really close to mine. People can be manipulated so easily. Sometimes, the scariest stories come straight from someone trying to justify the unthinkable." Weird activity. So, this Redditor was living on a quiet farm just outside town when they noticed something super odd. Over 30 Wi-Fi networks showing up, seemingly from under a random concrete pad on the property. Curious, they grabbed a Wi-Fi analyzer app and started checking things out. All the signals had the same weak strength, but it peaked right at the center of that pad. Move in any direction, and the signals dropped. Even weirder, the network names kept changing every few minutes and used every single channel in the 2.4 GHz range. They didn't stop there. Using a thermal camera, they noticed one spot on the pad was hotter than the rest. When they drilled tiny holes to test, only the warm spot drained water like there was an open space beneath it. Later, they linked the strange signals to a nearby blue hut and found a lot more than they bargained for, including some eyebrow-raising online activity. Lucky her. A Reddit user shared this chilling encounter 6 years ago. While on a solo cross-country trip, she found herself hours behind schedule due to bad weather and a nearby accident. Desperate for rest, she pulled into a small run-down motel off Route 250 in Virginia. The check-in guy, acting strangely, insisted on cash only. Red flags immediately went up, but she paid and headed to the room. It was filthy, with signs of bedbugs and cockroaches. She decided to sleep in her SUV instead. Around 3 a.m., she woke to voices outside. The motel guy was on the phone, then walked to her room, unlocked the door, and slipped inside. Moments later, he came out angrily with another man. They approached her SUV, tried the door, and peered in. Thankfully, she stayed hidden. The two men walked away, and she drove off. The motel shut down shortly after, and the mystery remains unsolved. Unexpected savior. A Reddit user shared this story 6 years ago. It happened 3 years prior when she was 22, living with a roommate and going to school. One evening, her roommate went clubbing, and she stayed home to relax and work on homework. Around 10 p.m., she went to a gas station for snacks and noticed 3 guys, probably in their 20s, hanging around. They made her feel uneasy, especially when they stared at her as she left. After driving home, she noticed they were following her, and her anxiety grew. She decided to drive around to shake them off, but they kept tailing her. As the guys began swerving and getting closer, she panicked, dialing her sister's husband, Josh, for help. But when she arrived at her sister's house, it was dark, and her sister wasn't home. The guys blocked her in, and one even tried to open her car door. Just as she was about to panic, Josh appeared from behind the house, ordering them to leave. The guys fled, but the police couldn't catch them without a license plate number. Reddit users began calling Josh a hero for his quick thinking and bravery, and she couldn't agree more. To this day, she wonders what would have happened if Josh hadn't been there. Memory loss. A Reddit user shared this on Our Legal Advice 7 years ago about her concerns regarding her boyfriend, a doctor in North Texas. She noticed that she was experiencing memory lapses, which she initially attributed to being tired or stressed. Over time, she began waking up with no memory of what happened the night before, noticing odd things like unusual marks on her body. At first, she thought it was due to drinking, but the incidents happened even when they weren't drinking. When she tried to end the relationship, she found herself back with him a few days later, confused about how that happened. After noticing some strange symptoms, she became even more worried and decided to leave. The situation was affecting her work and causing anxiety. She wanted to know if blood tests could help determine if something was wrong and how to approach the police about her concerns without being dismissed. Terrifying dream. A Reddit user once shared a chilling experience that still haunts her sleep years later. She and her boyfriend went to bed early one night, but as she was dozing off, she felt like someone was watching them. When she looked up, she spotted what seemed like a shadowy 3D figure on the ceiling, something no one could physically reach. Her boyfriend didn't believe her at first, until he saw it too. They left a lamp on and tried to shake it off. But then everything got weird. The next thing she remembers is suddenly running through the house in a panic, while her boyfriend woke up yelling from a different room. The clock had reset, the light was off, and they had lost nearly 6 hours with no idea what happened. They later realized they both had the same dream. Strange black and white figures just staring. And the scariest part? None of them had mouths. Greatest Reddit mystery. In 2011, a Reddit account named A858 began dropping strange strings of letters and numbers on a subreddit named after it. At first, no one paid attention, until some users guessed it might be encrypted code. That led to the creation of a dedicated subreddit, r/solving A858, where curious minds, including tech students and puzzle lovers, teamed up to figure it out. A few of the codes were eventually cracked, revealing things like ASCII art of Stonehenge and random book excerpts, but most of the messages still unsolved. In 2015, the person behind A858 finally responded in an AMA, but only in riddles. When asked what the whole thing was about, they replied, "We cannot disclose the purpose. A858 will end when the purpose is disclosed or discovered." To this day, no one knows who made it, what it means, or why it started, and that mystery still creeps out the internet. Creepy post-it notes. Back in 2015, Reddit user rbradbury1920 made a post that freaked out the internet. He claimed someone was sneaking into his apartment and leaving mysterious post-it notes, reminders he never wrote. Then came a creepy one. "Our landlord isn't letting me talk to you, but it's important we do." Suspicion turned into a full-on investigation when a commenter, Cockerlack, suggested a terrifying theory: carbon monoxide poisoning. Turns out, our Bradbury's bedroom had no windows and sat above a parking garage. He'd been hallucinating. His forgotten CO detector was still in its box. Once plugged in, everything made sense. The twist? The handwriting on the notes matched his landlord's, or maybe it just seemed that way through his foggy, poisoned mind. One comment said it best: "Kakerlak just saved your life." FBI alert. On October 4th, 2010, Reddit user Ked the Gypsy posted a wild question. Does this mean the FBI is after us? He'd found a chunky, weird device under his friend's car, either a tracker or, according to one stoned roommate, a bomb. The post exploded. A top comment identified it as a Guardian ST-820 GPS tracker, the kind only sold to military or law enforcement. 2 days later, FBI agents showed up at the friend's house, demanding their tracker back. Turns out, his friend Yer was the son of a late Muslim community leader and had been on federal watch lists for years. The agents even listed Yer's favorite restaurants and travel plans. Creepy, right? What started as a paranoid Reddit post ended up exposing a real FBI operation and sparked a nationwide debate about privacy, race, and surveillance. So, next time you joke about Big Brother, just remember, Reddit might be watching too. The subscriber's pick. On January 21st, 2016, a Reddit thread titled, "To Those Who Have Accidentally Hurt Someone, What Went Wrong?" gained serious traction. Though the post was later removed, a backup revealed thousands of confessions, many clearly made up, but some unsettlingly real. One story described a college student returning home at 3 a.m. A man stood outside his door, claiming to look for someone named John. The student, who had just moved in, tried to brush it off, but the man refused to leave. When the student opened his door, the stranger forced his way inside. A struggle broke out. The man fell, hit his head, and was seriously hurt. Later, the poster found out the man had a history with the previous tenant and likely came seeking revenge. But there comes the most unforgettable post. A now deleted account shared a memory from the 1980s. A group of kids had a secret hangout on a massive dirt cliff. One day, they found a neighborhood boy, someone who didn't quite fit in, sitting in their spot. When they told him to leave, he refused and threw dirt and sticks. The kids ran up the side to confront him, and somewhere in that chaos, he slipped and fell. They found him at the bottom, barely responsive and hurt. Scared and unsure what to do, they ran home and never talked about it again. Years later, in the comments, someone replied with a question that flipped everything. Was it Scott Kitchell? He went missing in 1988 in St. Charles, Missouri. That comment exploded. How did this random user connect a decades-old missing person case to an anonymous confession? Scott Kitchell was 9 when he disappeared after heading out to play in a wooded area near his home. That night, a storm hit hard, and the search became nearly impossible. He was never found. The thread was deleted, the account vanished, and the mystery remains. Real confession? Hoax? Or something darker that just slipped through the cracks? See you next time!